with us, we have our guest speaker, Sarah Remmel, and she will present this topic about the creativity thinking. She's, as she calls herself, mompreneur. She's mental coach. She's impulse giver, and she can present this topic really good. I already heard it in German, so I already know what I'm saying about. And also, just for you to know, she even wrote a book about creativity, and she really do that and know a lot about this topic. So please, Sarah, it's your time.
Thanks a lot, Antonia. Thank you. And welcome to everyone to this keynote about think outside the box. So the next 30 minutes actually will just be about this one here, about the key, and you see the job router key, of course, the job router key, and this is the key to our creativity. So the question behind this key is actually just, how can we open the door to our personal creativity? And if you're curious, so that's good. So then I would say we just dive into the world of creativity now. Let's see. We go into a first picture here, and you see a keyboard. And probably most of you wish there would be like a key like create. So I just press the key and then, woo, the ideas are there. So that would be great. But we all know it's not that easy all the time. So when you're at work, you really want to have the idea. You want to have this brainstorm. You want to have this flash of inspiration. So the good news is, almost everything is limited except our ideas. So I think that's good news. So it actually means we should have lots of ideas. But we all know this. The only problem is, where are the ideas when we really, really need them? When we have like a problem at work and we want to solve it and there is no idea. So let's have a look. Maybe you know a situation like this. You drive, you're in a good mood. Antonia just said it's so sunny outside, and you drive, you have fun. And all of a sudden you think, ooh, what's that? What was that? Oh, no, that was the flash of inspiration. That must be it. That must be the idea. But no, it wasn't the flash of inspiration again, but I need this idea. Maybe you know such a situation. And we all ask ourselves, how do they come, these real flashes of inspiration? And the good news again, it's actually just about those two hands. And you can rub your hands if you like to, because creativity is just inside your hands. Probably you've heard of design thinking. We think with our hands, we create with our hands. And moreover, it means we have actually two principles of creativity. And I'd just like to start with the first principle of creativity. And you can see this. The blue part, the principle means let creativity happen. So what does this mean? Let creativity happen means make or be aware about the success factors of creativity. When are you really, really creative? And I invite you to write this in the chat now. When are you guys really, really creative? When do you have like those flashes of inspiration? Just write your ideas down.
Yeah, by the way, I need to mention that we have this like 20 seconds delay in our live stream. So please write your answers, and in case we don't read them promptly or whatever, don't worry about that. We just need some time probably just to figure out what is going on.
Thank you,
Please,
Antonia.
Sarah.
Yeah, good hint, huh? Yeah, that's important. So yeah, feel free to write in your ideas. When are you really creative? And the opposite as well. So because this principle, let it happen, it's not only about the success factors, it's also about the creativity killers. So we all know those killers. For instance, this guy here, maybe you've seen the movie Inside Out, a Pixar movie. This is like a real scary guy. It's like a fear, he's always very scared and stressed. And that's, of course, a huge creativity killers. And I'm sure you know a lot of more creativity killers in business, maybe at work or somewhere else. And feel free to write your creativity killers in the chat as well. So that might be very interesting for all of us here. And we will have a deeper dive into the let it happen principle later on as well. And before we dive into the let it happen even more deep, we just have a short view on the other side on the make it happen principle. So make creativity happen. That's the second principle, and it stands for the techniques. So what techniques can I use to really have a great idea or have lots of great ideas? And you see the example, a craftsman uses more than just a hammer. And that's the real important message with creativity as well. So you wouldn't use a hammer for everything. And the same with creativity. You wouldn't use just brainstorming, but for instance, a headstand method, for instance, some more method. And you find a handout in the app as well. And there are lots of methods I've just written down for you guys, and they might be interesting for you as well. And of course, we will have a look into at least 2 methods today. And I think it's very important to have a situational use of those methods and really be prepared. What method do I want to use? Okay, so I've promised to go a bit deeper to have a look at those success factors and at the creativity killers as well. And let's have a look in the chat. Antonia, do you see anything in the chat? I'll have a look there as well.
One thing from me and another one as well from another person, so you can check.
Yeah, most creative when I'm relaxed, least when stressed. Great. So yeah, Jasper, thank you. That's a very, very important message. And bad weather, right? Good weather can help to be very creative. Yeah, because then we are in a good mood and that helps us to be creative. Cool. And what you see here as well, movement is so important. When we move ourselves, when we do exercise, when we go for a walk, we are more likely to be creative. So that brings me to one exercise we can all do together now. We pick some apples. So I just invite you, just imagine there are apples just above you. And the good thing is no one can see you now but me. But it's okay for me. So yeah, feel free to pick some apples and just to stretch. Just pick some apples. And the posture is so important for us as well. How do we feel? Everything is connected. Our thoughts, our mind, our emotions, and also our body. So it's good just to pick some apples. If you don't have time to go for a walk, just pick some apples at this. So just one idea for you. And another success factor, so there are lots of them, but another one that's very, very important is the success factor of connecting things that don't belong together. And we also call this cross-innovation. So I've just brought 2 examples. The first one, very interesting one, you see a picture of a MRI machine. And well, we all can imagine it doesn't look like very inviting. When we think of kids, they wouldn't like to go in such a machine. It doesn't look like really nice. So that was the problem a hospital had, and they wondered, how can we change this? And then they had the link. They said, well, what about this would be like a playground? It would look like an adventure place. Then kids would love to just go in there, but probably wouldn't want to go out. And that's what they changed. And it was a huge success. So you see, they linked two different fields together, and it was a huge creative success. They created something new. Just one example. And another one is look into the nature. That's probably one of the most important principles in creativity. When you link something, your product, with nature, so whatever software, you can ask yourself, what can I learn from nature? In this example, you see a Japanese train, and they designed this train like the kingfisher's beak, the bird you see at the left side. And it helped them to build this train more aerodynamic. So it's always good to ask yourself, what can I learn from nature? And this principle is also called bionics. So maybe next time you go for a walk outside, ask yourself, what can I learn from this tree, for example?
Yeah, we have a few more comments regarding where people get their creative ideas, and like taking a shower and also during the sleep.
Oh, great. Yeah, good points. So taking a shower in the bathroom, most of us are very, very relaxed. So that's the reason lots of ideas are there as well. So I'm happy when you take this message with you. It's good to be relaxed. Try to have like a stress management, and then to have ideas. And on the opposite, if we look at the creativity barriers or killers, so you can name it as you like, if we look at them now, there's just one very important one that most of us don't, well, they don't see. We all don't have much time nowadays. We all like in a hurry, and okay, we have to do this, and at work, everywhere. And I just like to give you the example of Albert Einstein. He just once said, when looking for the needle in the haystack, the difference between me and a normal researcher is that a normal researcher stops searching when he finds a needle. But I look through the whole pile to see if there are more needles in it. The same with creativity again. Most of the time when I'm in companies and people, and what I observe is when people have a solution, I mean, this is great, but what they do is like, yeah, I get it. And then they run and go for it. But we don't know if it's the best solution. Well, we know from creativity that the first ideas are not, they probably not the best ones. We need some time to really develop them, because creativity is a process. So I really recommend not to stick with the first idea, but to look further, just like Albert Einstein. And to see this guy again here, fear and stress. We just talked about this. And fear and stress is, of course, in office as well. So we're all in a hurry, and that kills our creativity. We cannot be creative when we are stressed. But still we try to. So the message is, try to really focus on being relaxed, and then it's more likely that you can be creative. And just a third killer, and the last killer, you see this guy here, or maybe this one. So the inner critic, you all know this probably. The inner critic, it says something like, oh no, it's not good enough. I shouldn't say this idea. No, no, I don't dare to say this. It's so bad, whatever. So we stop ourselves then. And that's sad, because I mean, the idea doesn't have to be perfect from the beginning on. We need time to develop these ideas. So don't stop yourself, and don't roll your eyes in a meeting, because this kills creativity as well. We all know this. So just to summarize, recognizing the barriers is the first step to change, to really change and to be more creative. And you can do this in your team the best. And you see here now, once again, rubbing your hands, the two hands, we have on the one hand, let creativity happen and make creativity happen. And we just had a deeper dive into the let creativity happen principle. And now it's time for make it happen. So for the tools. And I've prepared two tools for you guys. And a first tool, which is really refreshing, as you see. It's the so-called headstand method. I really, really love this method. It's so good. Well, it's because it helps to be in a likeness, to be to feel good. So let's have a deeper look in this one. And you see a question. So our question, so let's imagine we are one company, we're a software company, and our question is, how can we retain our customers? So that's our leading question. But we won't do a normal brainstorming now, but we reverse the question. We do like a mental headstand. No physical headstand, please, just a mental one now. So what we ask ourselves now is, how can we scare away our customers? And I'm sure you have lots of ideas to this question. And please write your ideas in the chat once more. What do you think? How can we scare away our customers? And everything is allowed. No restriction. That's important for creativity. And of course, you can just read the examples. There are just some examples that might help you to be inspired. It could be something like be unreachable, build defects in our products, or a good one is also react annoyed to customer inquiries. Scream at your customer. So I'm sure the customers will run away. That probably is a guarantee. So I just have a look in the chat now to see, yeah, if you have some more ideas. I give you just some more time how to really scare away your customers. And I'm sure, Antonia, you probably have some ideas as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of different ideas.
Yeah, great.
Just even being rude, it will be also an option. Or not answering call phones, whatever.
Yeah, right. Not answering phone calls, right. So that helps to scare our customers away. And what we do now, of course, we don't stick with those crazy ideas now. Of course, you can be relaxed. We turn them around now. So that's the method. So that's what we do now.
Yeah, we have a few comments.
Yeah.
Do not listen to the customer and don't understand their needs.
Yeah. Right. Great. So good. Always good not to listen to the customer. So good invitation for the customer to run away. Yeah, and what we do now is you can take your answers and turn them around. But not like turn them around, okay, listen to the customer now, but like, what can you think of, what idea you have in mind when you read something like, just an example, react annoyed to customer inquiries. Then you think, when you turn this around, okay, train customer advisors, for instance, or you say like, well, we could also positively surprise our customers by special offers, promotions, etc. So all those, let's say, green, crazy ideas and the ideas in the chat, they can help us to find the good ideas. So the ideas we really want to implement. Feel free to write your ideas in the chat. What can you think of when, for instance, we are reachable? There you see the example. We really have to ensure the accessibility across all channels, our direct and friendly response with promise to get back to you within X minutes or hours, etc. So just a few examples. And I'm curious what your ideas are. Yeah.
We have one comment for a green answer. It is treat the customer as if they are not very smart. I like this one.
Yeah, that's a good one as well. I like this. Yeah, great. So yeah, I'm sure you have the message about the method, and you probably see it's very easy. So you always start with a question you have in mind. You can say, how can we build the best products? How can we build the best, create the best software ever? So if this is the question, you turn it around to how can we build the worst software ever that scares everyone away, for instance. And what is good about this method, it helps to laugh together. And that's a success factor of creativity. So that's the really, really good thing about this method. You see this here in the summary. You can do this alone, you can do this in a team, and it's always good to do this in a team, then you can inspire each other. But if you're alone and you don't have a team around you, of course, you can use this as well. So just turn around the question and find crazy answers, and then you reverse them once more. And you have different ideas if you would just do a brainstorming. Well, and it's helpful. It's an all-purpose weapon because you can use it for so many questions. It's not only for software or for customers. You could also say, how can I live how can we live a healthy work-life balance? And you turn it around to, how can we even become more quickly a burnout, for instance, get a burnout, for instance. So you can use it for lots of different topics and questions. And it's very easy. So also helpful maybe for difficult or chew topics to bring a bit more lightness or nice atmosphere in the group you do this method with. Or to start a workshop, to have like an icebreaker, that this could be helpful as well. Okay, so this was one method. You remember the make it happen principle and let it happen. So this was part of the make it happen. Use for instance, a method like headstand, and you can see we have used written elements, and that's good for if you have a huge group and if you have introverts in your group. That's so good because you get everyone has the same voice, and there are not the dominant or the louder people who dominate the brainstorming round, so you get the ideas from everyone. So I really recommend to use written elements in a brainstorming or in any other method as well. Okay, so let's have a look at the second method. And the second method is a very, very easy method. And actually, it's just about one word. And this word is why. So you can really remember this method because it's that easy and it's so helpful. And I've just brought one example to you guys to maybe just go back. One example. So the method, we call this method 5 why method. So when we have a problem at work, for instance, something doesn't work, a bug in the software or whatever, we ask ourselves why. And then when you have this answer, you ask yourself another time why. And you do this just like 5 times. And in the end, most of the time you have the root cause. And if you have the root cause, if you really know that's the reason why it doesn't work, then most of the time you always have most of the time you have a solution just next to it. And that's the nice thing about this. So one example. Let's say you need an important form, but the printer doesn't print. I know most of you are very digital, but sometimes we need something to print out. So let's imagine it doesn't work. So why can't you print? The answer is because the printer cartridges are empty. Okay. So second time, why are there empty cartridges in the printer? Because there are no full ones to exchange them. Okay, that was the second time. Let's go a step further, third time. But why there are no full cartridges? Because they were not ordered. Okay, fourth time. Why were they not ordered? The answer, because nobody knows who can order them. Okay, so a fifth time, why is that so? Why doesn't know anyone who can order them? And then you have the fifth reason, which is the root. And in this case, it was something like because the purchasing process is centralized and no one knows whether the stock is checked automatically or whether it is necessary to manually report that there are no more cartridges in the stock. So there you see, you have the problem and you have the solution just next to it. So the purchasing process is unclear and something needs to be changed here. So next time you can print. This is just one example. It's an easy example, but I'm sure you will find some occasions in your life when you can ask yourself 5 times why. And I'm sure you will have the solution just next to it. Just try it next time when you think, oh, there was this method. What was this about? About 5 times why. Just use it. And from this method, from the 2 hands, let it happen, make it happen, we just now dive into this very nice ocean here, because there I have some flow impulses for you guys, how you can really, it's more likely to get in this flow. And it's kind of a summary of everything we just talked about. So the good news again, you can never use up your creativity. The more you use it, the more creative you are. So that's the good news. The same with our muscles. We really need to train, and then you get more creative, and everyone is creative. There is no human being who is not creative. That's just not possible. We all are creative. Let's have a first impulse, the first one. If you have a problem and you really want to solve this problem, or you have to solve this problem, fill up your brain, be analytical, think of this problem, and then take a breath. Just relax, go for a shower, as one of you just written, whatever, go for a walk, just do something, but don't, but have a break. This helps us, then it's more likely that this aha effect comes to us. And maybe you've heard of Eckhart Tolle. He said about this case, true intelligence works in silence. It is the silence into which creativity and problem solving can be found. And that is the reason why meditation is such a creativity boost. If you meditate, you get more creative. So you don't have anything to do, you just be silent, be with yourself, and automatically you get more creative. Second impulse for you, replace but by and no by interesting. Why is that? Because no and but, they close your thoughts. If you say no to yourself or to anyone else, if you say but, they close their thoughts, they stop. But, and now I say but, the other way around is when you say and interesting, and then you let your thoughts go. And that's for the creativity process very, very important. So next time in a meeting, someone says, but you can do this. just hold your red card here, no. And by the way, you can make up some creativity rules. You can commit to creativity rules in a team and say there is no but, there's just and. This is helpful for creativity. The third impulse is just humor creates lightness. If you, for instance, like have a ritual, you tell a joke before a creative meeting. People laugh, they get in a nice mood, they are not stressed anymore, and this helps to get great ideas. And the fourth and last impulse for you guys is don't look over the edge of the plate. Please leave the plate. Otherwise, you're still in the soup. I'm sure you guys know what this means for you. And I thank you that you are here. It's very nice that you're here. And I wish you a lot of fun and, of course, creative success with all that you've just learned. Thank you.